Good day, starlights, moonbeams, and sunshines. I am Tito, and you are watching Talks with Toya and Tito, conversations that bring healing. Now, can you believe? Now, I can't believe it, that we are on episode 3. We are on a third episode now of these conversations where we started with mental health. And then we delved into parenthood and asking ourselves, are we raising little slaves? Now, we want to ask you this week a very pertinent question. Are you fine? No, like really, are you fine? Now, I'm going to hand over to my talk show host, Toya, who is going to now give us the lineup for today so we can know what we are so heavily discussing when we ask you, are you fine?
For that wonderful welcome, Tito. I'm your host, Toya. Welcome to the show today. We are so excited to have everybody online. So guess what? Our program today is looking amazing. We talk, are you fine? And if I can just say this before we go on, if you are not fine, speak to somebody. Speak to a family member, a friend. Reach out, okay? Don't stay with the problem. Don't stay in a bad space. It is not okay to be like that. And then straight after that, on our local is Lekker, is my baby brother, Ricardo MAlijika, known as Magic Man, who has 6 professional fights and has not yet won. Has not yet lost. Oh my gosh, Cardo! Has not yet lost one of his fights. He holds the Gauteng Championship. And straight after, my boy from NSA, my guy, Kvbbz, known as Kvbbz on the beats. So guess what? Today is going to be awesome. Stay tuned.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It is definitely about to get lit, as Ama 2000 say it. So I am a 27-year-old mother of 2. 12-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. I was now diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, bipolar 2, as well as depression and anxiety in the year 2018. I know. I know. You ask yourself, geez, how do you deal with all of that? It ain't easy. So, we started off with speaking about mental health in our first episode. Then we delved into parenthood. This is something that is personally to me very deep. Something that in Black culture we don't necessarily delve into. Now, I'm not talking race or anything, but since I grew up in a very Christian home, I am a pastor's kid, PK, yes. And these were topics that were not necessarily broken down in a way that helped me in the past. But growing up and learning to communicate with the people around me, my supporting structure, being able to say when I am not fine and when I am not coping well is something that I thought I should put out there to assist others. So in this week's episode, we are obviously asking you, look at yourself and ask yourself, am I okay? I want you to ask yourself, am I fine? And now break it down. It is not only, am I financially fine? Am I emotionally fine? Am I physically fine? Holistically, as a person, you need to be spiritually fine too. So now as we speak about are you fine, I would like us to talk sis, I'm asking you right now, Toya, are you really fine?
Thank you for asking, Tito. I'm 70% fine. I've had a really rough week, a rough 3 weeks emotionally. And I think it's important that we ask this question. So many times we take it for granted that people are fine because their status says they're fine, or they look like they have it all together. So, my life's rough. Nobody knows what I go through. And we have that attitude, and so we don't actually connect with people. And then you find out the person's committed suicide, and then you're devastated and you are crying and throwing yourself on the tombstone and that. But if you'd actually taken the time just to check on that person, you could have been a lifeline. I know so many times friends of mine have checked on me at the right time, and it's been exactly when I needed someone to check on me. And so it's important. And I'm learning now, like you said, Tito, that, implementing this at home with your children. My 6-year-old, she turned 6 last week, Thursday, has been basically diagnosed with depression. I know that's rough. She's 6. But let me tell you what happened. So we just recently, during the lockdown, relocated to Kvbbz in the Eastern Cape from Johannesburg. And in the move, we forgot her bag, the bag with the toys. And her special doll was in that bag. And she's been removed from her aunt, her friends, everyone she knows, the church we went to, and now her doll. And so this little girl became depressed, and she kept getting sick, and there would be nothing, just a stomach. And they actually linked it to her being depressed. And so we've started having conversations where I go, how are you, my child? How are you today? And then she'll tell me, mommy, today I didn't have a good day. Aiden was like in my face, and the cat didn't want to play with me, and Lexi. And so she tells me, and you might go, oh, seriously? She's a child. And you're making you're making a big before her time. But I think it's important, if you want to raise a healthy person, that you actually know where your child is at. And so many parents want to connect with their kids when they're teenagers, but they neglect their kids when they're toddlers and little beings. And so that's not okay. And so, moving it back to you, Tito, I would like to say thank you for asking. Thank you for checking. How has your week been?
Wow. Toya, it is, like I always say to you, sis, it is commendable how you are effectively trying to instill practical ways on how to handle being a mom of 3. I really don't know how you do it, which is why I keep asking you to go back to this question that we're dealing with this week, the question of, are you fine? Like you said, we never have people actually ask and then stop to actually listen if we're okay. I mean, I started exercising this week. I went back to the gym. I went back to the gym. Yes, I went back to the gym, and it has been awfully amazing. Obviously I want what I want. So I'm going to be saying, oh yes, it's so much fun. Oh my God, no. I do not know how I stopped working out. But when I get back into the gym, I'm like, I'm actually okay when I'm at the gym because I'm focusing so much on what I want, that I'm working towards a certain goal, that those negative thoughts that do come up sometime, they override everything that is going on in your life. So the way that depression is that it completely delves into every single part of your life. Your physical life, your emotional life, your spiritual life, it just delves into it. And even though you feel like in your career you're doing the most, it will try and convince you, no, girl, you need to be down. And I think how often we speak to people now. I haven't spoken to many people. I was stressed because it's my son's birthday. And he is turning 12 and is expecting just as much as a happy birthday just from his mom. So I was stressed. I was stressed because I don't think I've given my son enough time, because I'm trying so hard to make a life for him that I forgot that he was my best friend. He's been my best friend ever since he was born. So when I started speaking to him, I saw that things got better, and they got better for me too. So, yes, that was my week. I said happy birthday to my son, and I got to know where he's at. And I'd like to think I am fine right now, and not letting the depression get the best of me. Thank you for asking, though. Thank you very much for asking. And I'd like to know, did you have conversations with your mom? How did you learn what you're doing right now with your daughter, that she's a toddler, and you basically just fell into it? You so naturally are speaking to her. Is that what you learned from your mom? Was that your relationship with your mom?
I'm smiling because you're saying that I'm so natural. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay, let's leave that perception as is. I would like to say that I learned in reverse. So it wasn't something my mom taught me. She used to say to me that when you're older, you'll understand. No, for a child, that can be something very frustrating, because I want to understand now. Okay, like, don't stop telling me about I'm older. You know, everything you ask. You're like, okay, cool, forget it. I'm not going to even bother asking anymore. But then she wanted us to be very close. And I really struggled to be that close with her, because we never had that connection. We were not the mom that hugged and kissed each other. That wasn't our relationship, you know. So how did I get there with my daughter? Well, I mentioned, I think previously, my husband. He was one of the people that used to go, in this house, we shall communicate. Thank you, babes. And then there's a show called Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. I don't know if you guys watch it. Sorry for those who don't have kids. You're like, what is she on about? And what would happen in the episode is something would happen. One of Daniel's brothers or sisters would do something he doesn't like, and then he'd get mad. And that's exactly my son. He goes, oh, I'm so mad. Like, you're so cute. So I would, go, what's wrong, Aiden? Then he'd go, Lexi bit me. Lexi took my bottle. Lexi this. And Lexi's our 1-year-old, by the way, guys. She's our last born. And so it would have to be like, Lexi, don't do that. And speaking to her as if she understood. But it's so funny, because now she would go, and as she pointed him, then I know he did something, and I go, what did you do? And this just sounds like a diary of a mom now. But learning to communicate with my kids became something very important, because I didn't want to have that gap. I didn't want to expect a relationship from them when I was 16, but I neglected them when they were little small beings. And also in this day and age, kids get raped, kids get abused and bullied, and it's so important for us as parents to actually teach our children to speak. So with my daughter, I get down on her level, look in her eyes like this and go, tell mommy what's wrong. And then, she does this, I don't want to talk. She's a girl, our girls are. No, tell mommy, mommy's listening. Mommy wants to know what's going on. I didn't have a good day. Why? Aiden didn't let me watch any of my shows. Lexi kept crying and, okay, I'm so sorry. How can I help you? And she loves tea parties. She loves all things girl. And I'm such a tomboy. Look at my face. I'm trying, yeah. And so it's literally connecting with her, speaking to her, and then doing the same with the other two, and just letting her know I'm a safe place for them. I'm their safe haven. Whatever goes on in their life, doesn't matter how old they get, I'm her. I'm that person that they're going to come to. I carry them, damn it. So, Tito, I would like to ask you, what would you like to implement that you feel like in non-white homes, in black communities, it's so lacking, and in Khoi and San and so-called color communities, it's lacking? What did you like to implement in your household that would benefit your children towards being fine and knowing that look, if no one else is going to ask me out there, am I okay? My mom's going to check.
That is amazing, Toya. I teach Oetu and Anaya that when you are not okay, you need to speak up. Now, my son is 12 and he had a stroke at 3 days old, and I gave birth at 7 months. So, he is different. He has cerebral palsy, and his right side of his physical body was affected. He obviously had a lack of oxygen when he had the stroke at 3 days old, which affected his left brain, which then obviously correlates with his right side. So he is different compared to children that he goes to school with. But now I learned to teach him that we are all different, and if anything is not okay, if anything is not going okay, because I know it is a lot of pressure, and as much as we don't want to speak about this, kids are mean. Kids are so honest. They are so filterless that they just spew out what the first thing that comes to mind. So I've taught my children that when they're not okay, they need to come home and to their safe haven and be able to say, today I faced A, B, C, and D, and I'm not okay with that. And I've also taught my children to point it out when I am not in the right too. Because I am only human. As much as I can be their mother, I am also only human. And the last thing I would like to say is I have taught my children that self-love is the first thing you need to do. Now, you need to love yourself in order for you to love someone else. Now, I do this thing where you sit down in a corner in a space. I have a meditation area where all I do is play binaural beats, and compared to when I before and after I have listened to this music, this meditation music, it's a time where I sit and I listen to myself, and I do a self-check, an introspection to check, am I fine mentally? Am I fine physically? Am I fine spiritually? Have I nourished the relationship that I have with my God in order to nourish the relationship I have with my kids, with my parents, with my friends, with my siblings, with my family? I check, am I still okay with myself before I am okay in the world? So yes, I've learned to teach my children this. Now, even with my little one, with my 3-year-old, I've taught Anaya she's very vocal. She's so vocal that she knows how to say, "Mommy, I am sad." And as much as we would like to overlook that, when a child says, "I'm sad," you need to listen. We as parents need to listen. And before we learn how to listen to our children, to listen to our parents, to listen to the people around us, we need to listen to ourselves. When your body is aching in a certain place, or you cannot concentrate, you need to pull yourself back real quick and ask yourself, am I okay? Going back to our topic, am I okay? Are you okay? We've spoken about our kids and how we can handle those things, and how we can teach our children to know themselves, to be able to communicate. We also obviously have to have a foundation of knowing ourselves. Now, meditation might seem very difficult, and listen to binaural beats, because I'm telling you, my partner walked into the room the other day and was like, "What's happening?" Because it's such a different sound. And I was like, "No, babe, I'm just listening to these binaural beats. I'm trying to channel the frequencies of the waves in my brain, because at that time I know I needed that me time." So yes, that's how I get myself in check if I don't exercise, because I've gone back to the gym. I've always thought that exercise is key, and with a mental health problem, with a mental illness, you need to be dedicated in exercise, because exercising releases endorphins. It's like chocolate. It's exactly like chocolate. And when you're done, you feel amazing. You feel, I know it's hard, but when you go and you keep on going and you're consistent, you feel a change. You feel when you're down and you go and exercise, you know that afterwards you will feel revitalized. Even if it's not heavy working out, you can try some yoga, which is something that I've been doing since I was 18. Yoga and meditation, and all this music that it sounds different, but once you listen and once your brain waves are channeled in the right path, you will see the difference. So yes, that's what I implement to my kids. The main thing is self-love and introspection, pulling yourself towards yourself. And like we're having these conversations of healing, we need to remember that healing is not a destination, it is a journey.
All right, Tito, what you shared about the meditation is quite good, hey? I personally had experience having a Zen room. I have a friend, Bia, who invited me over for tea. And I don't like tea. I was like, tea, okay. I went to her house for tea. I'm a coffee person. And when I got there, she had the piano playing in the background on YouTube. There was this piano playing, very good music. She had scented candles. She had these throw pillows on the floor. And she had tea on a tray, the way you do a tea party, like go. I'm a tomboy, so I'm like, whoa. So we had a tea party, and I loved it so much. I took it home and I do it with my daughter. We have tea, we have music playing, we have scented candles burning, just to calm the kids, just a different atmosphere. And also when we go into worship every night, we have the music first, and then we worship, and then we talk, and then we pray. And I believe it's very important that your child has that safe space. And next week, we talk coping mechanisms. So now we're learning how to be good parents. We're learning how to make sure our children's mental health is good. We're learning how to look after our kids. But now it's important that you're looking after yourself. Because how do you teach someone something that you're not doing for yourself? So we are very excited for next week's episode. Guys, there are so much mistakes in the show. It's crazy. So we are so excited for next week's show because we will be looking at coping mechanisms. Are you blazing? Are you drinking? Are you sleeping around? Are you taking pills? What are you doing to cope with life? Because that's not good. Anything that you use as a crutch will eventually disable you further. And so it's important that you get better, healthy, good coping mechanisms. So tune in next week.
Ooh-wee. It has been an awesome emotional roller coaster of a show. So on today's Local is Lekker, we have a young fellow NSA brother whose name is Karabo Mataba, and he is colloquially known as Kvbbz. He is a he calls it Afro-innovative. Afro-innovative DJ, guys, who landed in the DJ of the year on 011. So, guys, top 10, like click to NSA producing such stars. Now, this is our feature on the Local is Lekker, guys. Just take a listen. Thank you very much, guys. Take a listen to his music.
Yo, what's good, family? The government calls me Karabo Mataba, but you can call me Kvbbz, aka Mr. Township. I'm a multifaceted artist, creative director, producer, and DJ who blends genres together to make an Afrofuturistic sound, taking influences from hip-hop, electronica, Afro house, and techno. I grew up in Orlando West, Soweto, later moving to the 2190 southern suburbs of Johannesburg, which helped shape my musical taste. Growing up with different cultures really has a huge influence on my music. Graduating from NSA, dabbling in different art forms, led me to winning Best Artist at the 2013 Gauteng Carnival, And in 2020, I was nominated for DJ of the Year at the 011 City Awards, which I made it to top 10. Shoot. So shout out to everyone that's been supporting me. Music carries emotion. It carries a certain spirit within it, you know? And that's the reason why I make this genre that I make, because electronic music allows me to open the broad spectrum of all emotions that you could feel, you know. And from then on, I was just hooked. I couldn't stop searching for the sound, exploring different genres, and I came up to a conclusion that I make a genre called tantric techno, which is a mixture of everything that influences me. Different vibes. So that what inspires the music.
Right, so on today's Local is Lekker, we've got Ricardo MAlijika, known as Magic Man. He's a boxer. 1, 2, 1, 2. So he's going to be telling us a little bit more about himself. I used to train with him, so I know he's very fierce. And he's going to share his story. It's a beautiful story. And then, you know, he's got an upcoming fight coming up.
Hi everybody, I'm Ricardo MAlijika. I'm 22 years old. Started boxing in the age of 7. I have 65 fights in amateur. I'm 6 times SA champ. I represented South Africa and Angola in 2016. I brought the gold medals home. I turned professional in 2018. And I have 6 professional fights. In 2 title shots, I had the Gauteng title and the ABU title. And I'm fighting December 19th, and it's gonna be live on Super Sport, and I would like all of you to watch it. And thank you. I'm out.
Thank you so much to everybody who was on the show today. We love you guys so much. We will be doing a full cover on Kvbbz. We'll be covering him in a feature show. But we just wanted to say thank you, much love to all our supporters. We really appreciate you guys. We really do. And next week we talk coping mechanisms. So are you drinking? Are you smoking? Are you sleeping around? What are you doing to cope with life? Are you taking pills? Are you cutting? And if that's what you're doing, just be careful. Those coping mechanisms will destroy you. They will kill you. Find something positive to do. Find something good. Hone your craft. Focus on something positive. That's what I'd like to encourage you. Thank you so much. Much. Okay, I'll stop now. Much love from Toya and Tito.
So again, sunlights, moonbeams, and sunshines. I am again Tito on Talks with Toya and Tito. Remember, guys, leave your comments below. Leave your comments below. Leave the comments below. Critique us. Tell us what you would like to speak on. And next week, we have spoken about how we are going through these motions, how we are parenting. We are going to do coping mechanisms. I'm working out, guys. I'm working out. And I'm working out only not for the physique, but also for my mental health. So we're talking, like Toya said, we're talking coping mechanisms, guys. We're going to look at me work out. Look at me sweat. We're going to deal with, are you using not so good coping mechanisms? We're going to try and assist you guys to help you to find proper coping mechanisms. We're going to chat a little bit more about what coping mechanisms, like I am working out, work for us, you know? So yes, thank you again for watching and for joining us on our channel. Also, again, like, share our link, and subscribe. Please subscribe so we can give you more conversations that bring healing. I am Tito. We will see you on the next episode of Talks with Toya and Tito, conversations that bring healing.